in Glen Hill Farm colors. They're in the gate, and they're off in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies turf to a level beginning. They're across the track early, and moving up to take over the lead is Austere for a head advantage. Up on the outside, Dreamfire put into play early. Hard to Justify is a bit keen, racing between horses while angling over. Buku has dropped down toward the rail. Porta Fortuna between horses. Life's an Audible 3 wide. Stuck 4 wide as She Feels Pretty with Flattery next. In between horses, it's Lone, and out a bit deep is Carla's Way. Content is settled while a bit headstrong and in tight for racing room. Content shuffled back. Buttercream Babe works between horses. Le Pivot toward the back of the field. It's a tightly grouped field separated by 8 lengths in the run past the opening quarter. They make their way 5 furlongs from the finish. The leader is now Dreamfire in front 3/4 of a length. In between horses, Hard to Justify second. Life's an Audible 3 wide third. Patiently handled is Austere down toward the inside in fourth at this stage. The opening half mile was 47-3. From between horses, it's Porta Fortuna, and out a bit deep, She Feels Pretty. Back from there, Carla's Way begins to get underway. Down at the rail, it's Buku. In between horses is Loam. Then it's a length and a half to Gallibrand with Flattery dropping back. Buttercream Babe and Le Pivot is next. Content is 14th and last as they run to the top of the stretch. Less than a quarter of a mile to come in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies turf. Dreamfire off the turn with a wall of pursuers. Loose for the drive is Carla's Way. In between horses, Hard to Justify on the inside in Porta Fortuna. There's an 1/8 of a mile to go. Who do you like here? In between horses, Hard to Justify. Rouse forward for a narrow lead. On the outside, it's She Feels Pretty at the rail. Porta Fortuna. Hard to Justify turned them away. Challenges on both sides, but Hard to Justify up to the task. Close then for second. Either She Feels Pretty or Porta Fortuna. Content rolled late for a minor placing in 134-2.
Hard to Justify, the 12 horse, the daughter of Justify, fending off all challengers from the inside, from the outside, as she gets this win for Chad Brown and Flavian Pratt.
I mean, the pace was pretty swift early on, 22 and change for the opening quarter. They managed to get a little breather around the turn down the backside, but attending the pace most of the way was Hard to Justify. And Hard to Justify, it's hard to believe, Chad Brown, a record 6 win in this race, getting 9-1 in here. Unbelievable.
Huge effort from this filly this afternoon, and as you say, Simon, right up there and on the pace. We have a photo in for the horses behind. Let's take a look one more time as they turn for home. So Dreamfire taking them as far as she could. Where were some of the other horses that are involved in this photo coming from here, Simon?
Well, Porta Fortuna's in behind Rishi, right? White silk green cap.
Just in behind horses. I was wondering whether she'd get a clean run because she has to switch to the inside of Dreamfire, but she does get a clean run. I thought She Feels Pretty's run really well considering the trip that she's had. Content is the one making up a lot of ground late on. Carla's Way just seemed to run a bit awkward off the bend and struggle, but Content was running them down in another few strides. Might have got there.
The sheets play, I know you look at the sheets, Christina, they'll probably give She Feels Pretty a decent number. She ran wide. She lost more than the half a length that she was defeated with ground given up. And that will be, you know, that's a tough beat for Sherry DeVoe, getting beaten by her former boss in Chad Brown.
Post position, difficult for both these top 2 horses.
Yep.
They both overcame a lot just to be involved in the top 3 finishers today.
The difference in America, the difference between tactical speed and not having it. The 12, even though breaking outside of the 11, was able to have that tactical speed, cross and get over. And the 11, She Feels Pretty, a little slower in the early stages, and that compromised the trip. She was 4 wide the whole way around.
This filly is big. She has some size to her. Physically, a very mature-looking daughter of Justify. There she is making her way back. Let's take a look at the replay and see if we can figure out who eventually was second. We know the 11 on the outside is involved in this photo.
That clears it up.
Who was that on the inside?
Porta Fortuna.
It was Porta Fortuna.
I'd say
the
it's
10
probably,
backed up out of it.
It's the 11 or the 12 would be my guess.
Between the two of them, I'd say. I'm pretty certain Content was fourth.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Content making up quite a bit of ground, the 5 horse in here. There we go, and they have just posted it. So
Never
it was Porta Fortuna to finish second today, diving through along the inside. A nice handy ride from Machine Murphy there. She Feels Pretty after a wide trip, settles for third today, but you'd have to be very proud of that effort as well.
Oh, no question.